Welcome to Combos from the Couch by LifeStance Health, where leading mental health professionals help guide you on your journey to a healthier, more fulfilling life. Happy Pride, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Combos from the Couch. I'm Nicolette Lianza, and joining me today is Tennessee therapist Jerry Lawson, and we'll be talking about how to be a great LGBTQI plus ally. So, Jerry, so great to have you on.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it so
Yes,
much.
looking forward to this conversation. Very important conversation to give those
Absolutely.
tips on how to be a great ally. So, let's start with tell us a little bit about yourself and what led you to become a therapist.
Yeah. So what led me to become a therapist was back in 2012. I pretty much all of my 20s, I was struggling with an opioid addiction. But back in 2012, June of 2012, I had overdosed. I didn't die, obviously, still here, but I had overdosed and was like an intervention was done. And hey, you need to get help. What do you want to do? And so I ended up going to rehab and then went to rehab for 16 months. When I got out, I was like, I think I want to do this counseling thing. And I had already had my undergrad in biology. I applied for grad school and the journey is there on out. But yeah, so that's what got me in. Rehab got me into counseling.
Yep, there you go. There you go. For
Uh,
sure.
yeah,
So here you are, and it seems like you very much enjoy being a
I
counselor
love it.
and other
Yeah,
things. You
absolutely.
know,
Yeah, yeah. I think if we're being honest, it's guys good days, it's guys bad days. But for me as a counselor, it's mostly good days. So
Mhm.
I think it's such a privilege and an honor to really walk with people and on their journeys and no matter what walk of life and sit in the yuck with them for a little bit
Mhm.
and then see them come out of the yuck. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah.
So as we speak of allyship, you sound like you're just an ally for all your clients, right? As you're sitting in the up with them and helping them
That's
advocate for
yeah.
themselves and you advocating. So let's like as we shift over to talking about LGBTQI plus allyship, what is that and why does that matter?
I think for one being a person in the LGBTQ community, like sometimes it can feel very lonely, or it could feel very like if you depends on what kind of upbringing you had. Maybe your family has abandoned you, and you now spend Christmases and Thanksgivings alone, or your birthdays alone, and things like that. Like so,
Mhm.
allyship really, and I like the saying I heard the other day. I saw it on Troy Love and Her Arms website. It said, "Pride saves lives."
Love that.
And it's so true because that whole mentality, we're in this community, and
Mhm.
now, great, the allies let us know that hey, we love you. We want to help. We
Mhm.
want to. What can we do? Where can we participate? Because and even for a lot of my clients too, like they feel abandoned, they feel alone, they feel
Mhm.
isolated, and so allies can come alongside, and you don't necessarily have to be someone who you may not have a family member who is in the community. You can still be an ally. You can
Yep.
come alongside and volunteer at things and
Yep.
do stuff and become friends with people. And you never know, you might be able to help someone really feel like they're not alone anymore.
And that's the key right there,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah,
I- Looking at individuals who use maybe different pronouns for themselves, and definitely the non-binary and trans part of our communities here, why does using correct pronouns matter so much?
it's super important because they have seen themselves always as that. Like that's how they see themselves, and it's really I see it as I find it quite insulting and disrespectful if I don't because use a correct pronoun because that's they have especially if they told me their pronoun and requested for me to use that because if they are requesting it or they're telling me their pronouns, obviously it's important to them.
Yes, of course.
And so it's just like it's part of their identity.
It
And I think
aligns
that's
with who they are.
exactly aligns
Mhm.
exactly with who they are. And so to be disrespectful of it and just use whatever you want to use,
Be
like
dismissive of it.
yeah. And once again, it goes back to feeling alone.
Yes, yes, it
Feeling like,
does.
man, they just don't care. Do I have an
Mhm.
ally in this?
So that
Yeah,
is why it's so important. It's out of respect. It's validating their identity. Definitely.
absolutely.
So it's
Yeah,
a very,
absolutely.
very
And,
important
and
thing.
you have to think too the courage it takes to really put your identity out there and say this is who you are, that
Mm.
it takes a lot of courage in society, and it takes a lot of courage in family and friends and work, and so when they do that, they are why not honor that courage? Say, hey, you know what?
Yes, yes, love that.
You may not agree with them or feel, but why not honor the courage it took to stand up and say,
Love
this is
that.
who I am.
I honor
You
the
know?
courage. Love that for sure. Now, we've definitely seen more of an uptick in intolerance happening, unfortunately. Why can staying silent in the face of intolerance be so harmful?
Staying silent tells me you agree. And then, but people will be like, "No, I don't agree. You didn't say anything. So how do I know?"
Mm.
So the silence is deafening, and it is you tell me you agree, and so you have to stand up against the intolerance, and you have to say something. It's not you don't have to get aggressive, and you don't have to get into these altercations. It's just you can just set a boundary and say, hey. They said that they would like to be called she, her. Could you try to call her she, her? And if you
Mhm.
can, maybe you shouldn't be in this conversation.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it's
Mhm.
just letting them know, hey, that's not okay. You're not gonna
That's the key. It's not okay. That's not okay
yeah,
what you just
no.
said.
They would feel different if I came in there and was intolerant of whatever. Maybe
Mhm.
they I don't know, maybe they click a pen or something or drink coffee that just stinks or they always have tuna salad for lunch. I could always I can make a big deal about it, right? Or I could just say, you know what? Maybe that's what works for them.
Mm.
So well, let's go with that then.
Yeah, yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
So, what are some simple, meaningful ways people can support the LGBTQIA community?
Oh man, I think one thing is just show up for your LGBTQ friends. Just show up. And
Mhm.
showing up doesn't mean hanging out all the time, doesn't mean if you're an ally, it doesn't mean this extravagant thing. It just means, you know what, I'm gonna show up and I'm just gonna be here for you. If I need to just sit with you or hang out or even helping out in pride events and stuff. You know,
Mhm.
there's so many things that volunteers are needed, to make
Mhm.
these people love pride, but like it's
It's
like these
more than
event
just a
yeah,
month of the year. So many other
right.
organizations that
Yeah.
one can volunteer for, human rights
Yeah.
campaign, PFLAG, so many.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely. Some of the things you can do, even the most small thing you do, is just be kind. Just be kind,
Mhm.
and start there. Because
Yeah.
especially for people who, I'm in Tennessee, I'm in the South, and so it's one of those things where p- people they don't want to talk about it or address it, or they don't want to really, or it's a moral issue, or it's just all this stuff. And so for people who have been raised like that, but just don't agree with that anymore and would really like to just dip their toe and say, "Hey, I want to be an ally." Start
Mhm.
small and just be kind to someone that day. Call your local shelters that have. There's also, I know Nashville here. We have a couple. We have a LGBTQ IA shelter,
Mhm.
and that's important. Call it. They're like, "What do you guys need?
Love
How can I
that.
help?
Yeah.
How can I help?"
Even at the LGBTQ centers too, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Most major cities, or
Yeah.
definitely throughout many states now, we definitely have LGBTQ
Yeah.
centers for sure.
And
So,
then even maybe finding an organization that you feel passionate about that is LGBTQ, working on, okay, how can am I financially able to help them? Can I donate?
mhm.
Can I do a monthly donation or whatever it is? Start small. It doesn't, and I'm telling you, it doesn't have to be, people think I have to make this, write out this big check. No, five or a dollar or 50
Mm.
cents goes a long way. So,
Or
but yeah,
even donation of goods, like you mentioned, to the homeless shelters.
yeah,
It could be
absolutely.
socks, coats, things like that too.
Absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely, and just letting them know it's okay. And then also, I think being an ally too is really talking about sexual health too. You being on
Yes,
PrEP, things like that, making sure that you are taking care of yourself so that you take care of your community. And
definitely.
not being embarrassed about that stuff because I know it can be a little embarrassing or whatnot. But if you have a friend or a sibling or a loved one who is in the community, maybe ask them, are you taking care of yourself? Are you good? Are you protected? Are you on prep or anything? And it may feel uncomfortable, right? But really what you're doing is that's one of the small things you can do. You're aligning yourself with them and saying, I just want you to be okay.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Any other insights you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think pride is such a it's such a happy month, but I think what's interesting about Pride is that and a lot of the community and people that I've faced, and even before I came out and stuff, I remember I had friends who were in the community and LGBTQ, and I remember always being left with they're just the greatest people, and they're so kind, they're so they're so funny, or they're super smart, or they're very creative. There's so many things in the community. Like it's not we're not this island, right? Everything that the world and everybody else does, we do too. Like
Mhm.
I'm a therapist.
Yeah.
I know of surgeons, I know of lawyers, and I know of a lot of other important people too who do the same
We
jobs
are
and stuff.
everywhere, quite
Yeah,
literally.
exactly. But also too, I would say last remarks would be really during this month, if you know someone who is in the community and people may not talk so much, or you may see that they're isolating themselves, reach out. Just let them
Yeah.
know, hey, let's go get some coffee or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also happy Pride.
Yes, definitely. My gosh, Jerry, thank you so much. Great conversation regarding this. And I think
Appreciate it.
many of
Yeah,
our listeners are going to be definitely motivated to kind of get out there and be the best ally they can be for sure. So actually,
absolutely.
happy Pride back to you as well.
Yeah. Happy Pride. See ya.
Yep. I'd also like to thank the team behind the podcast, Jason Clayton and Juliana Whitten. Thank you again for listening to Convos from the Couch. Take care, everyone.